Good evening, explorers, and welcome to my Into the Radius weapons tier list. There's a couple reasons for why I'm doing this. One, for fun, and two, because while rating them in my range series, I didn't really have any defined parameters. Sometimes I would try to be more objective, while others I would go with solely how they mesh with me and my playstyle. For this tier list, I'm going solely based off of how I play and what my preferences are. This is truly my tier list. To elaborate, I play very minimalistically. I don't like to grind out extra cash, and I have a strong preference for using what I can scavenge. Also, this is entirely unscripted, except for this little intro bit. So if I get a bit rambly or incohesive, forgive me. Anyway, let's get into it. Alright, so starting off, we got the Makarov. It is your starter gun. You literally start with it in your pocket. And as far as starter guns go, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. It's not great. You definitely want to ditch it for, anything else as soon as possible. But as far as starter guns go, I mean, it works. You can use it all the way through Pervome and Balaki without too much issue. So I'll go ahead and I'll give it C tier. It's yeah, you're gonna want to ditch it as soon as you can. Next up is I believe that this is the AK-74, the regular AK-74. This one it gets a few points because you can get it out of crates, so you can get it for essentially free. Personally, this is probably my favorite of the AK-74s. Like if I had to pick an AK-74 to use, this would probably be the one. Just because you can get it for free, and it does pack a pretty decent wallop and it's pretty accurate. But it's not my favorite AK, so I'll give it an A tier. The AK-74M, however, you cannot find it in crates, so you have to pay for it, and it's also really, really expensive. Don't get me wrong, I do like using the gun. Like, the few select times that I've used it, I did enjoy it, but it just costs too much, and I don't think it gives you enough back for that price that you have to pay for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the AK-74M in the B tier. Yeah. Next up is the AKM. I'm pretty sure you guys already know where I'm gonna put this. It's going straight to S tier. And the reasons being is, one, it's free. Two, it has really good armor penetration capabilities just because it's in 7.62x39. And three, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I just fucks with it. The AK-74 definitely has better iron sights, but it's not really too big of a deal. And overall, that's just my that's just my preferred AK. The AK-74U, this one also holds a special place in my heart. It's a lot lighter, but it's less accurate, It's, hitting shots out at especially long ranges is going to be a little bit more difficult. And it also does marginally less damage than the normal AK-74, but you know what? I'm gonna put it ahead of the regular 74. I changed my mind. I think I like the shorty AK just a little bit better, but they're very comparable to each other, very very side grady, if you know what I mean. Here we got I think this is the Val. It's a little tiny, yeah, that's a Val. So the Val is a gun that I actually don't have a ton of experience with. And the Val's not a gun that I have a ton of experience with, but the few times that I have used it, it was pretty freaking effective. But again, you have the issue of you can't get it for free, you have to buy it. So, definitely between A or B for me. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards B. All right, now hold on. I'm gonna rate this as A tier, and then I'm gonna come down here, and then I'm gonna put the Ventores as B tier, because I do think that the Val is very slightly better than the Venturas for most situations. Having full auto is really nice. Although, I guess for how much damage it does, though, it might not really matter. And they have mag interchangeability. Hold up, I'm thinking about it now. Thinking about it. Shit. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put them both A tier. I'm still gonna put the Val slightly above the Venturas, but they're pretty comparable to each other. Also, the Venturas does a little bit more damage than the Val, so it's got that going for it as well. The AUG, I really like the AUG. I think that the AUG is probably one of my favorites. You can get it for free, not for free, but if you get the stash AUG, then you can get a pretty good discount on it, which makes it at least somewhat more viable to use, in my opinion. So, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stick the AUG in. It's either high A or low S. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. High A or low S. We're gonna do low S for now. I might change my mind in the future. The Deagle. This is a gun that, honestly, it's fun to use, but I don't really see like a purpose for using it. It's incredibly loud. It's the least accurate gun in the game. I wish I would have mentioned that in my range video. And it's not all that durable. So, I mean, besides the Makarov, of course, all of the other pistols just kind of work better than it in most situations, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the Deagle in. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I think that's a good place for the Deagle. Fun to use, but completely devoid of practicality. Kind of like the real Deagle. That's exactly what it is, IRL. Let's see. Next up, we have the DBL 10. This thing packs a wallop, but goddamn, it's pricey. It also comes with a built-in suppressor, though, so that helps. But again, because it just costs so much, and that's the only way to get it, you have to buy it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it. I don't think I could put. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in high B. Yeah, I think high B is a good place for it, at least in my tier list. Again. Don't get mad if I gawk on your favorite gun. This is 100% just how it meshes with my playstyle. You know what I mean? The FAL. So despite the fact that you can technically find FALs out in the world, you can't get them till the castle. So it kind of makes the FAL being free somewhat of a moot point, but it's also the cheapest 7.62 NATO gun. So honestly, this probably would mesh with my playstyle, even though I haven't used it very much. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it. I don't think I would put it above the AKs, but I'm gonna put it right there. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it, like mid A tier. Let's see, I believe this is the Glock 17. This is nice because, like, they can be found in crates and yada yada, but honestly, the other two options are just so much better. I personally would normally wait for an M9 if I'm gonna, like, use a 9x19 pistol. So, honestly, I'm gonna throw the Glock in. I'll throw the Glock behind the Makarov. Again, like, it's one of those guns where I don't see too big of a point of using it unless I literally can't find anything else. You know what I mean? Glock 18. Give me 1 sec. Hold on. Can you find Glock 18s out in the world? I completely forgot. Let me look it up real quick to see. You can. All right. So these can be looted out in the world. So that puts them pretty high already. Honestly, I would say that the Glock 18 is probably better than the M9, but you can only get them starting in Kolkhoz. So that being said, I'll go ahead and I'll put it in high B. I never feel like I actually find it, you know? Like, theoretically, it would be great, but I can never seem to find it. It's found pretty late. It's not that big of an upgrade from the M9, so I think high B is probably a good place for it. The GSH-18, this one is normally where I go to when I need a 9x18 weapon. I think the OC is a little bit too much, and obviously the Makarov doesn't really cut it at that point, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the G18, we'll put it right above the FAL. At the point where, you know, you normally find one and it's available, it's pretty freaking good. So, I think that's a good spot for it. Let's see. The IZH-27, the long. This is a fun gun. This is a fun gun. It's pretty easy to get. You can get it for free. I'm gonna go ahead and... well, shit. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at low A. It's not the best shotgun. It's not the most fun shotgun, but it is a pretty good shotgun for, you know, those earlier areas. You know what? High B. Yeah, we'll go high B. Now this one, the IZH-81, this is fucking... I love this gun. I love this gun to death. As a matter of fact, it's going right there, right up in the S tier. It's super fun to use, it's super useful past late stages of the game, and it's just all around it's really good, and you can get it for free. There's literally a stash with one that you can repair. That's guaranteed, you can just go get it. It's great. I get it every time, and I use it every time. The stash one even comes with a pick rail, so if you want to put like a sight on it, run slugs, you know, El Cheapo rifle, you absolutely can. So yeah, I think mid S is a pretty good place for it. The M14. So the M14, I do like it. It is currently my preferred 7.62 NATO gun. The only issue with it is that you can't suppress it, and it has pretty high recoil, so that, you know, even at close range, you gotta pace your shots to make sure that, you know, you're actually hitting your target, especially if you're like in a panic situation and you got dudes rolling up on you. That being said, though, I do quite like it. I think its sights are tight, even though I normally put an optic on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it. Fuck, man. I think that's a good place for it right there, between the GSH and the AK. The M4. I never use the M4. And I never use the M4 because the AUG is free. Or not free, but you can get one for, you know, a lot cheaper. And in my opinion, the AUG just has a little bit more going for it than the M4 does. Like, it's the only thing that's bad about the AUG is that it's a bullpup. Which, I mean, if you can get over that, then it's, in my opinion, just a better M4, you know what I mean? It's got a progressive trigger, so you don't need the flop, you don't need to flip-flop between, you know, different fire modes and all that. And you need to buy it. Obviously, you need to buy the M4. You can get the AUG at a discounted price. So, from my playstyle personally, it's going in low C tier. I never see a reason to use this. Let's see, M9. M9 is great, absolutely wonderful. As soon as I pick it up, normally in Pobeda, I always use it. It's a very reliable sidearm. I think it's one of the better guns in the game, just in general, especially as a sidearm. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this at low C tier. I don't think it's better than these three right here, but it's still pretty good. Still a great sidearm. The Mosin Nagant, that is going straight up, all the way at the top of S tier. It's very fun. It consistently one-shots most things. Obviously, you gotta hit a headshot with sliders, but it's super fun. It's very effective, and you can get it for completely free. And there's multiple ways you can get it for completely free. So yeah, it's that's where it's going. It's going straight up to S tier. I freaking love it. Funny enough, I just finished the Into the Radius 1.0, and man, the 1.0 version of the Mosin fucking sucks cheeks. Like, don't get me wrong, when it's working, it's perfectly fine, very comparable to the 2.0 Mosin, but goddamn, when it's working, most of the time it's not. Anyway, moving on to the MP5. The MP5 is this is actually the gun that I used when I first ever beat the game. So I got a little bit of a soft spot for it, but in all honesty, I don't care for it too much, and I think that just mainly comes down to the fact that I don't really care for submachine guns too much. Like, in most situations, you know, I'm keeping my rifle calibers for my rifles and my pistol calibers for my pistols. So to have, like, you know, ammo compatibility between my, you know, my two-handed gun and my pistol just seems a little silly to me. So I never really run one, but it's alright. It's alright. I'll go ahead and, I'll put it right in the middle of B tier. It's okay. Ah, the Graza. It's going straight to D tier. Look, I'm sorry, like, by every facet, I should love this gun, right? I should absolutely adore this gun. It's powerful. You can get it for free. It has a built-in grenade launcher. It has so much stuff going for it. It fires subsonic rounds all the time. There's a lot going for it. But I hate using it. The sights are disgusting. The height over bore you have to get with this thing to, you know, like, actually use it with an optic just does not feel comfortable to me. And just generally using the weapon at all, just, it feels disgusting. And I don't know why it does either. The AUG doesn't have this issue despite the fact that it's also a bullpup. I don't get it. But regardless, my brain hates using this thing. So regardless of its performance, I gotta put it at D tier. If it doesn't feel good to use, I'm never gonna use it. You know what I mean? The OC-33. In my opinion, by the time I normally get this thing, it's already kind of overkill. But then again, it is also very fun to use. It's, shit. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. I would say that I get a little bit more use out of the GSH, but the OC-33 definitely is a good upgrade for it. So I'll go ahead and I'll put it right next to it in the A tier. Let's see, PV-2000. You can get it for free. I don't really use it all that much, but I feel like it would be good, you know? Like, the few times that I have used it, I absolutely fucking shredded with it. So, I'll probably put it, like, slightly above the MP5, because, again, like, you can get the PP for free, and I think that the PP is a little bit better than the MP5. So yeah, I'll put it right above the MP5. Actually, I'll put it above the Glock 18. Yeah, I'll put it above the Glock 18. Alright, PP91. When I was doing the research for the 9x18 range video, I learned just how, like, good this thing was. I didn't realize that per shot it did, like, double damage compared to the Makarov, which is quite a lot. 30 damage compared to 15, yeah. It can be obtained relatively early on. Can you find this in crates? I think you can find this in crates. But there is a stash one that you can get a discount on. Honestly, I think that the PP91, just overall, because, like, obviously, the issue with the 9x19 guns, you know, is that you're using them, but you're also taking away from like a very viable sidearm caliber. So I think the PP91 actually kind of beats these out, because at a certain point in the game, you're not really going to be wanting to use 9x18 in your sidearm, you know? Most of the time you're going to go with either 9x19 or 357. So I think as a submachine gun, this actually works a little bit better, because you can put some of that, you know, 9x18 FMJ to good use. So I'll go ahead and I'll put it right here at the ascent of A tier. The PPSH, the short PPSH. I used to hate this thing, and then I gave it a shot, and now I love it. It absolutely shreds. It's super light. It's surprisingly controllable, and it does surprisingly good damage. So honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stick it right here between the IZH-81 and the AUG. Like, it's very, very useful and effective, you know, up until even the later stages of the game. So I think it's well deserving of S tier, and you can get it for free, obviously. Now this is where the full version kind of falls flat. Even though visually I, you know, don't abhor this thing like I do the short PPSH, but it's just not as good in most situations. Like, yeah, it's slightly more accurate, but I don't think it's that big of a difference. And it's slightly better recoil, but again, I don't think it's that big of a difference. And it's just overall heavier, you know? It also controls differently. It's kind of hard to explain, but essentially, depending on what kind of gun you have, you'll either get like kind of pistol-like handling or rifle-like handling. What I mean is, when you put both hands on the weapon and you move your left hand or your non-dominant hand, it will sway. It will actually like it'll change the it'll manipulate the weapon. With the PPSH, the full one, it does that. With the short one, it doesn't do that. And with the short one, it's good that it doesn't do that, because that means I can clamp my hands really close together and basically stabilize my hands off of each other. I can't do that with the PPSH. But I can also hold breath with the PPSH, which I can't do with the PPSH short. I don't know. It's kind of a give or take, but overall, I would say that I like the PPSH short a lot more. Also, you need to buy the full PPSH, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go put it high B tier. Again, it's like it's kind of made what's the word? Redundant by the short PPSH, which is just what I prefer. We have the Saiga 12. I don't really care too much for this, to be honest. It's just not really my thing. If I'm going to use a shotgun, I'm probably either going to use the IZH or the Spaz. Yeah, sure, it's mag-fed, but it's pretty pricey, and you can't actually get one until you get to Pachor's Castle. So for me, it's like, it's one of those guns where I'm sure I'd have plenty of fun with it, but I'm probably never going to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it low C tier. I don't hate it. I just, again, by the time I get my hands on it, it's already kind of useless. Next up is the sawed-off, and I fucking hate the sawed-off, and it's going straight down to D tier. I'm sorry if you like the sawed-off, you do you, dog, but I just don't. It's I don't find it very fun. It sure as hell isn't very effective. So the only real saving grace for it is that you get it for free. But since I don't have any inclination to use it in the first place, I'm not going to use it, even though it's given to me directly. Next up is the Scar, and again, this falls into the category of, by the time it's really available to me, I'm not going to be able to use it, or I won't use it. It's too expensive, available too late in the game. it's a grinder's gun. You know, if you can grind for it and get it, and that will make it very, very good for you. Like, it's the best gun in the game, I think, hands down. It's very versatile. It can be used in pretty much every situation you can think of. But again, it's too damn expensive for me. I'm never gonna get it. I'll take the FAL 9 times out of 10 just because all of that money that I saved because I, bought the FAL, I can now spend on ammo, magazines, attachments, meds, basically anything, Again, if you grind for this gun, then yeah, sure, it's gonna be great for you. But for me, it's just not for me. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put it at I'll go ahead and I'll put it right here, kind of in the middle of B. It's really hard to place it because I don't hate it. There's nothing I particularly dislike about it. It's just too damn expensive for me. Next up is the SKS, and the SKS is a fucking tragedy. Like I said, I just got done with the 1.0 run, and oh my god. This thing used to have a bayonet, and it was fucking badass. It is a shell of its former self. Not only is it a shell of its former self, but you pretty much have to buy it. There is a stash with one, but it's in such a dangerous area that by the time you get around to it, you're gonna have a million different better options. This thing is an absolute travesty. It's just, it's the only rifle available at security level 2, but that's all it's got going for it. And at that point, you don't need it. Pistols, shotguns, and submachine guns will more than take care of whatever you need. This is completely unnecessary. So I'm not gonna put it below the sawed-off, but yeah, I'm gonna put it right here, right down in D. I'm sorry, I think that it's unnecessary, and it's just the shadow of its former self. It's the 1.0 version was fucking goated though. The Spaz 12. Again, this one also kind of suffers from, by the time it's available, it's just kind of too expensive for me to want to use it, sort of deal, I would definitely take the Spaz over the Saiga, I think, when it comes to most situations. So I'll put it above the Saiga. I'll go ahead and I'll put it, like, right here in the C tier. Again, it's just, I don't hate it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you use it, by all means, you do you, dog, but for me, I'm never gonna find a reason to use it. The Drag. So the Drag is a gun that I think is very warranted. It warrants its price. It's very versatile. I would even say that it's probably better than the M14 just because you can suppress it. You know what I mean? You can suppress it. It does a little bit more damage. So I'll go ahead and I'll put it right above the M14. It's pretty good. I do enjoy using it. And then finally, we have the TT-33. You already know I love this gun. This is one of my favorite guns in the game. You can get it for free. You can get a free one in a stash that has a suppressor adapter and comes with a suppressor and a bunch of mags and a bunch of ammo. It has above average penetration. It has really good damage. It has fairly decent velocity. There's a lot going for this gun. It should not be as good as it is, but it's pretty fucking good, you know what I mean? It's definitely S tier, but I'm trying to decide where in S tier is it gonna go. And I think I'm gonna stick it right between there, between the AKM and the Mosin. I think that's a deserved place. All right, and you know what? I think that's our tier list. I know that this is definitely not everyone's tier list. As a matter of fact, this is probably nobody else's tier list besides my own. I have some pretty dog shit opinions. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. If you let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Where should I have put some other stuff? What should I have done differently? All you Scar lovers, you are free to crucify me. I probably deserve it. Until next time, explorers.